Shalom, Ahab, Wa, Baraka. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Waharakah Kodash, and double honor to the elder apostles, the prophets, and the teachers that have been bringing out this 100% truth for the last 30 plus years. And to the sincere Akia Wa Akwa, salutations. Let's just get right into it. Let's see. I had it out, and then as soon as I wanted to use it, it just kind of disappeared. Hold on, guys. Oh, that was crazy. All right, let's get right into it. Let's go to the book of Luke. We'll have a quick review class real quick. Let's go to the book of Luke. We're going to go to chapter 15. And we're going to start at verse 11. And it reads, and he said, a certain man who had 2 sons. The younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that falleth to me. And he divided unto them his living. And not many days after, the younger son gathered all together and took his journey into the far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in that land, and he began to be in want. And he went and journeyed himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent him unto his field to feed swine. Now he would have fain have filled his belly with the husks that the swine did eat, and no man gave unto him. And when he came to himself, he said, how many hired servants of my father have bread enough and to spare, and I perish with hunger? And I will arise and go to my father, and I will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against thee, and sorry, I lost my place. And I will go and say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee. Salakia. Verse 19. And no more worthy, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. Make me as one of the hired servants. And he arose and came to his father, but when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion, and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him. Gave him a big hug and a kiss, in other words. And the son said unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in thy sight, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. But the father said to his servants, bring forth the best robe. You see what I'm saying? And put it on him. And he put a ring on his hand and shoes on his feet. Now bring him hither the fatted calf and kill it, and let us eat and be merry. For my son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found, and they began to be merry. So I want to just bring out something in that little story. First of all, let's go to the book of Ezekiel chapter 33, because I want to start right there by addressing what he said. And let me go to Ezekiel chapter 33, and I'm just going to go back to the end of the story real quick, and I want to show you something over over here in Luke. So when you go Luke, um, where is it? He said, my son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. And they began to be merry. That's what I wanted to bring out first. So my son is dead and is alive again. So, this goes into Ezekiel chapter 33 and 12, starting at 12. Therefore, thy son of man, say unto the children of thy people, the righteous of thy righteous shall not deliver him in the day of his transgression. And as for the wicked of the wicked, he shall not fall thereby in the day that he turneth from his wickedness, neither shall the righteous be able to live for his righteousness in the day that he sinneth. So in other words, when he left, he couldn't live in righteousness because he was in sin. And he even knew it at the end. He even said, I was in sin. And what happened to him? He sunk to the bottom to where he was eaten out of the pig's trough just to live. But what happened when, as he's being wicked, and this is the state he was in a state of wickedness. He was living riotously. And we're going to get into that too. But let's stick with the being wicked. So I'm going to read verse 13 now. We're back in Ezekiel 33. When I say unto the righteous that he shall surely live if he trust to his own righteousness and commit iniquity, all of his righteousness shall not be remembered. But for his iniquity that he hath committed, he shall die for it. This is why I was saying my son is dead, because spiritually he was dead. Salakia, I had to check on the animals real quick. There was a disruption, so let me go back to verse 13 and read it again. When I shall say to the righteous that he shall surely live if he trust to his own righteousness and commit iniquity, all his righteousness shall not be remembered, but for his iniquity that he hath committed, he shall die for it. So spiritually, his son was dead when he left righteousness and went out into the world. It's a perfect example. And when he hit the world, he lived riotously. Like I said, we'll get back to that though. Let's go back over to Ezekiel 33, though, and read 14. Again, when I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, if he turn from his sin and do that which is lawful and right, if the wicked restore the pledge and give again that he had robbed, walk in the statutes of life without committing iniquity, he shall surely live and he shall not die. And so when you go back over to verse 24, it says, my son was dead and is alive again. Why? Because he turned from his wickedness and came back to righteousness. So that's what this is actually talking about. When you're one of the children of Israel, it even tells you, I'm slow to anger and quick to forgive, right? Let's get it. James 1:19. And it reads, wherefore, my beloved, let man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. That's not the one I wanted. I can't find it right now. Hold on for a second, guys. Hold on for a second. All right, let me pull it out. I had to find it. It's Psalm 145:8, and it's in the King James Version, and it reads, Yahweh is gracious and full of compassion, slow to anger, and of great mercy. So that's what I'm talking about right there. So he's slow to anger and of great mercy. So when the son was coming home, he got up to his father and he said, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in thy sight, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. But here's who he is, full of compassion, full of mercy. So what does he do? But when you come back to this truth as an Israelite, here's the point. But the father said to his servant, bring forth the best robe. So when you come out of that dead state, that spiritually dead state of that spiritually dead mind state is what I'm trying to say. You're gonna the Most High is going to he's gonna bring forth the best robe and he's gonna put it on you. So he's gonna put that, and what is that robe? That he's gonna clean your garments that they're white. Okay? And so what the point is of this story is we've all fallen apart from Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. We've all fallen away. Let's go back a little bit because I keep telling you that I was going to bring out about the riotous living. So let's get it's Luke 15 and 13. And then let's go there. And it says in the King James Version, and not many days after the young son gathered all together and took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living. Riotous living. So that's what we're getting into right now, because when you think about us as a nation, Israelites it just seems like we are the ones that are doing the most. When you go on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or whatever social media platform that you're basically watching, you're going to always see them depicting us doing the most, being the meanest, being the baddest, being the everything that would be considered not good. So, it's almost like we're doing our best to show our oppressor that we can be just like them. And I think that that's the main problem, but that's just my own vain imagination. Now, and when you love, when you love your master, you become a slave to his, not only to him, but to his way of life, to that whole culture. That's why they call this secret Babylon, because your master secretly worships the gods of Babylon, and we have all the culture of Babylon. So, and the culture of Babylon is what? Does anybody know? Entertainment, pleasure, instant gratification. That's what the culture of Babylon is. So, and I want to get this really quick too. Proverbs 21 and 17. He who loves pleasure will become poor. The one who loves wine and oil will never be rich. So going back to the son in Luke, and in verse let's start at 14, because he had riotous living. So let's go back to verse 14 real quick. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in the land, and he began to be in want. In other words, he ran out of money. He didn't have anything left, and he didn't prepare for the future, which is another point that we should be making, because that goes right into the wise virgins and the foolish virgins. So he fell into the category at first of the foolish virgins, but also into the category of the wicked that came back to the truth. But when he was being foolish, the first thing he did was run out of everything, wasteful living. And as soon and this is what I mean by the wise virgin, because as soon as shit hit the fan, he didn't have any oil in his lamp. But in this case, he didn't have any finances because he never actually he had riotous living. In other words, he just spent money on whatever he wanted. Just bought anything, partied anywhere, and he was done in a couple months. So that's what it means by riotous living. The way we live right now. You'll get your welfare check and go get your hair and your nails done, but you wouldn't put that money towards some new shoes and then get mad at the father saying that he needs to give you more child support. It's crazy how this world works right now, but it's all going to change. But anyway, so after having his horrible lifestyle, which is, like I said, it's a lifestyle of pleasure. And what happens when you live a life of pleasure? You become you become poor. It says that he who loves pleasure will become poor. So that guy was in that Babylonian type lifestyle that we're living right now. It's all about having a good time, finding some women. And I mean, when you're young and you've worked all week and you've done your thing, there ain't nothing wrong with going out and having a good time, but basing your life on a good time. So he was dead in spirit. And as soon as shit hit the fan, he didn't have nothing because he never prepared. So when you go to verse 15, he went and journeyed himself. In other words, he went and found somebody to work for out of the country that he was in. And then he sent him to the fields to feed the swine. So he said, go feed my pigs. And so this guy's like, okay. And he would have had filled his belly with the husks that the swine did eat. And no man gave unto him. So what did he have to eat? He had to eat whatever the swine ate because nobody would even help him. And so he says to himself, this is another really important point. When you're out there in the world, they're waiting for you to go down so they can talk shit about you. They're waiting for you to go down. Ain't nobody out here trying to see you successful or make it. Nobody's out here trying to do that. You might have one or two real friends in this world, but that's it. Even in your own family, once you come into this truth, you're hated for his namesake. So anything you do, they're waiting to see you fail so you can say, oh, where was your God? Where was your God when you tried to do that? Well, he was right there. Maybe it wasn't, but the thing is no matter what, these people you're gonna be hated for the namesake out here in these day and ages. So the people don't care about you at all is the point. They just want to see you fail. So when you have that riotous living, they're going to join with you and be your best friend. You guys are going to be close buddies. But as soon as you run out, they're going to be shaking their finger at you going, I knew he wasn't going to do it. So he's working for somebody and he has to eat the hooves of the what did they eat? They ate the husks that the swine ate. And so now I'm gonna close it out with this. What happened is he realized that and I'm gonna bring this up to date. See, as Israelites, when we're living in the world and we realize that the world is set up against us, and we read the scriptures, and the Most High Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, allows us to understand those scriptures, allows us to come back to the truth. It's like him, like when you see your father and you're ready to humble yourself. I'm ready to praise you in my captivity, Father. I've learned my lesson. What does the Father do? He comes out with a robe, which represents forgiveness and mercy. So if you guys have eyes to see and ears to hear, I want to bring out one more scripture and then we're done. It's Revelation 22 and 12. And it reads, behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according as his work shall be. So just remember that. You're going to get judged on whatever you're doing right now. So come out of that wicked Babylonian lifestyle. Come and receive your robe. There's only a few spaces left. Because, see, only the 1/3 can get in. And the 144,000, those are the teachers and rulers within that 1/3 to bring the children back to the truth. So if you have eyes to see and ears to hear, I hope you got something out of this message. Shalom.